It is the Riot. Hi.
Yay, it's the end of the week.
How yous doing? What is it with the 4-day weeks and the fact that I feel like you and I have been here for 100 years.
It's
locked
all right.
in this little room.
Hey, that's always how it's been. Anytime you have a Monday off, the rest of the whole week drags. So this week was no different.
Well, you know what part of it is? This sounds like terribly irresponsible, but the things that I don't get done on Monday then have to be done on the other days.
It's not like they just disappear.
They don't disappear. And that's part of the problem right there.
It used to be more fun if you were in, I think high school, because then that way you're like, oh, I just don't have school that day.
Yes.
But we have responsibilities.
All right. It's great. I love it.
But you guys can enjoy the podcast. Let's enjoy the last one for the week.
We should. In the podcast, as we talk about Nikki and I starting to drink weird drinks in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. We talk about teddy bears on a roller coaster. You can see that video on our Facebook page. We've got a little more HBO Max chat. A story about Hudson. Hudson's in the podcast again.
He is.
Nikki sent me a text message yesterday that disturbed me beyond belief, and we had to talk about it.
Hudson's a DJ also on RadioU.
Yes.
So in case you're like, who's this Hudson? That's who he is.
We talk about how to spot a scam, Madden NFL 2026, Apple Plus, robots and your medicine, places you're not supposed to wear a mask, and what Amazon is doing with your super expensive Nintendo Switches.
That's it.
So I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today.
We'll just be here.
Thanks.
Bye.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So Nikki and I have been, at least over the last couple of days, sampling the canned goods. And that's where my concern is coming from.
There's a concern?
Yeah, because yesterday I rolled in here with a cotton candy energy drink. I drank half of it, but the other half's in there waiting on me.
Oh, are you going to finish it? Because if you don't, then it'll be here all weekend.
Which is not okay.
No, you should probably drink it.
I actually wrapped it in some plastic so it didn't end up tasting like the fridge.
It's not going to help.
Won't it keep the taste of the fridge out? No, it's not going to keep the fizz in. I get that.
I think you need to keep the rain in the can. Like, it's going to take over everything in the fridge itself. It's the other way.
Well, that's why I put the plastic on, so it'll stop it.
I don't think it's enough. That cotton candy will just seep into everything.
Michael will be drinking his Diet Mountain Dew. Like, why does it taste like cotton candy?
It's even in a can. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't make any sense to me right now. So there's that. And then Nikki has brought in her healthy alternative, just a little something to give her some zip.
Dude, I'm trying the sparkling grapefruit water from Amazon. It's like their Happy Belly. It's their brand.
Happy Belly?
You didn't know that's the name of their stuff?
Am I a baby?
This is
my mommy like, oh, baby's got a happy belly?
They have everything. Well, not everything, but, they have a lot of cheeses, ice creams, milks. A lot of dairy.
Okay. All right. Sure.
A lot of dairy.
How do they
Bread,
get that dairy
veggies.
to you in time?
When I do an order, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure they have a cooler. There's like a 2-hour window when I order through Fresh, and there's a 2-hour window. And
okay. It's
cold when it gets to me.
Okay.
I got the Happy Belly bacon to try.
How much of this revolves around the flavor or the product? And how much of it just revolves around the fact that they'll just bring it to you?
A little bit of both. Everything tastes better.
I will tell you, I'm getting more and more concerned about you just getting out.
Why?
Are you going to remember how to go to a store?
I don't think
Are you going to remember how to go in and select items for yourself?
I don't know what to do with myself if I have to. I don't know if they sell this in Whole Foods. I'm not sure.
Well, man. Could it get any more pretentious?
I know, that's why this is not pretentious. This is their low stuff.
Grapefruit water. I don't even know if they have it at Whole Foods.
This is their lower brand. This is not their Whole Foods brand.
I don't even Whole Foods, bro.
So I don't know if they sell it there. I'm not sure.
So is it any good?
It is. It's actually really good.
Okay.
I just need some ice. It's hot, and I don't like hot water.
No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
But you don't even really like ice in water, though, do you?
I do. I have to have ice.
Okay.
I just don't like it once it starts to
melt even a little bit.
Yeah, then it changes. I like fresh water. Glacier.
I like glacier water delivered by the Amazon boy. And the problem is once I take a few sips,
well, then it's gone.
Then I've ruined it because my lips have polluted the water.
No, I just like really cold drinks.
All right. Well,
I'm going to go get ice.
So would you buy it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, man. Like anything flavored like grapefruit, you might as well give me pineapple.
No, sometimes I try like the Frescas and the other stuff, and it has a really weird aftertaste. This doesn't have that.
Oh, my gosh. Just complete side note. One time I had a party, invited Nikki's parents, and her dad was like, yeah, I want Fresca. And I was like, all right.
Fresca?
So I had a 2-liter of Fresca waiting on him. Yeah. And when he showed up, he was like,
why?
Why'd you get that?
Why?
And I was like, because you asked for it.
It's like, what's the other stuff?
It's like, yeah, I was just kidding.
It's like LaCroix, which I can't get into. I don't like LaCroix.
Yeah. And just a heads up, Fresca's disgusting.
It's just like soda mostly.
It's awful.
That's the best stuff.
The Riot. They're kind of a big deal.
Hey, can we do that again? Maybe a little more energy?
No. RadioU.
One of the stupid things that I do day in and day out all the time is look at other people and think about how much better they are than I am.
Aww.
It's subtle, but it's real. Now, and here's how it's subtle. Obviously, okay, let's say you sit down and watch the NBA. You see LeBron James. He's better than me. At basketball, at the very least, and at money.
So because he's so better, in that case, you can enjoy it.
It's like, that's fine.
But you see the talent there.
Yeah, because you're just like, all right, look, there's no point in even that. But it's the other people in my life, the regular people, where I'm like, they're so much better than me. They do this better. They do that better. And I mean, it's constant. It's really annoying. But it goes on so much that it's like having a fan on in a room or something. You just forget that it's there because it's always there. But every once in a while it flares up and I start to really pay attention to it. And it's something that I've been just really having a hard time with the last couple of weeks. And it's, again, like I can acknowledge that it is dumb and yet it is difficult. Mm-hmm. But I saw a picture yesterday or 2 days ago that really brought some of that into focus for me, is how dumb some of that is. I saw this picture of a friend of mine. He has a kid. It was a picture of him holding his kid. She was a baby. And I was looking at it. And as I was looking at it, I just felt like God said to me, this is how I love you. And I thought, what? Because I'm such a baby?
Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you're saying, God? I'm such a whiny baby. Thanks a lot.
Now you had to figure out a little bit more with that.
As much as I hate the word, I had to unpack it a little bit. And so the idea that I saw there was, here's this baby that in reality doesn't do anything for my friend. It doesn't do anything. In fact, it is a pain. Like, it's always needing attention. It can't do anything its own, whatever. But he loves that kid. He would die for that kid, all that stuff. And that's when it kind of hit me. Like, God doesn't love us for what we do. God doesn't love us for how we look. God doesn't love us for any of those things that we do. He just loves us for who we are. And to a great extent, that doesn't make any sense. But neither does somebody loving a baby. Because, again, man, that baby, like a liability, really. Like just not, I would say a walking liability. Not even walking. You got to carry it. You got to carry it everywhere it's got to go, right? And yet people love babies, right? And I even like my friend's kid. I'm glad I'm not up in the middle of the night with her, but still, right? So look, God loves you as you are. He just does. And you're like, but that, you know what? Some things just are, even if they don't make any sense. And there are things that maybe don't compute, but they are. Well, you know what? Jesus loves you. Even if it doesn't compute, he just does. Even if you're not as good at basketball as LeBron, or insert anybody else and their gifts and talents right there.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Our good friend Chris, who is responsible for making it go, He sent us this YouTube
Did you find
video.
out where it was?
Oh, yeah, I got all the info here, Nikki. It is a roller coaster that is completely loaded down with stuffed bears.
Big teddy bears.
Huge
all put
teddy
in.
bears.
If you don't know, a lot of times they have to test roller coasters, but they need to put something in so the bar goes down.
Right.
So we've seen them test roller coasters with like
Weighted dummies.
weighted dummies is normally it, but they put teddy bears in the whole thing.
It's amazing.
It's so cute because the bears kind of move and it looks
almost
almost human after a while.
They look like people. Their arms are like going up. Their heads are moving.
Bobbing.
It's incredible.
You know, if you woke up and you're like, I don't want to do the day, I think you should watch this and it'll really change things.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's just slide on over to our Facebook page.
It?
Yeah, the Riot's Facebook page. I'm going to post this video of these bears, and it's going to help you. Now, I did some digging as to where. This is at a place called Wally in Holland.
Really?
Walibi?
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Holland, and they're open now.
Oh.
Which, this is interesting, like getting a look at it. They have, what do they have? Like so many different attractions, like 20, 18, 30, they say, with different sensation levels. Their sensation levels are sensational, exciting, and fun.
Is that how they rate things there?
Yes, sensational would be the roller coaster. The log flume appears to be exciting. And then the, oh my gosh, I'm in that turning tube and I might end up getting wet. That is fun.
The
which
categories.
It's not. I hate that thing. I hate getting on water rides. They're the worst. Then you're all, not only are you hot, then you're soaking wet.
For the rest of the day. You save it for the end of the day. And then that way you're just wet in the car.
So here's what they're doing. And again, let me keep in, this is a theme park in Holland. So I'm not talking about anywhere else. But what they are doing is you have to book online. So you have to schedule your visit. So they're doing a thing where
only so many people can get in.
Only so many people can get in. They limit the number of tickets they sell in the park. It looks like you have to have your temperature taken when you get there. And doesn't say anything about masks. But you definitely have to. Is there anything else they're making you do? Looks like that might be it.
Do I get a free bear?
No.
No? Okay.
You're going to have to either buy or earn that bear.
I'm sure they're just for show. It's really cute. It's just fun to watch them in the roller coaster.
I will say that their stuff is pretty cheap. Like you can do 4 tickets for 10 euros a piece, basically. So $40 for 4 people.
I wonder how the rides are. Is it more like a, I don't know, smaller version than some of our amusement parks? Like, would we be amused?
I'm speculating, just looking at the photos. It looks like they probably don't have as many, say, big roller coasters as a place we would go, say, Cedar Point. Mm-hmm. That's one of the biggest roller coaster parks in the world. I think they actually have more roller coasters than any other theme park. Now, that being said, this looks okay.
Yeah, it'll do.
Yeah, and it. You know what I love about it? It's completely covered in trees. There's trees everywhere. You know how great it would be to be able to sit under a tree on a hot day? Because most of the time you go to a theme park and they're like, we've ripped down every tree for 500 miles to make sure that we can cover this in asphalt and you will wait in line.
And you know that misters won't fly anymore, so that's not going to happen. But if you want to check out the teddy bear roller coaster ride, you should go to RadioU.com if you go to our Radio U Riot Facebook page, you'll find it posted there. And you should really go watch it and then support it so that all of our bear posts have a certain amount of traction.
It's important to Nikki.
It is.
And the bears.
And no snarky comments. Just put, it's very wonderful. I barely can contain myself.
You know, all the good
like
stuff.
That, yes.
And you know what here? Share your best berry
fun
compliment.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Nikki sent me a text message that disturbed me. I received it earlier today, or excuse me, yesterday. It was about a restaurant that I had gone to on Wednesday.
He went the same day.
So, yes, let's get a series of events down here. Chronology, Wednesday. Here on this show, I began talking about wanting General Tso's chicken. Wednesday, I found myself in a position where it was lunchtime, I was hungry, and I was near one of my favorite Chinese restaurants, which offers a wonderfully discounted lunch special. I went in and ate it and enjoyed it enormously.
You had a good time.
Sat out on the porch there, the patio, and ate like the kings of old. And then I left feeling good. Then yesterday, Nikki texted me. What did Hudson find in his meal?
Well, you have to explain because it was Michael, our boss, who told me because I wasn't in when Hudson came in to disclose to everybody.
Yeah.
But when you go into this place now, there's all this plexiglass around, I guess.
They have built
a fortress.
It's insane.
You write your order down and put it through the slot. And then you get your food through like a pulley system sort of thing?
Yes, you do. Like you may have like no direct contact. It's kind of impressive.
So I want you to know that because I feel like that needs to be understood to lead up to what then Hudson found in his food. So Hudson was eating his Chinese food, and inside of it, he found a Band-Aid.
He found
a Band-Aid.
A Band-Aid!
In his food, all in the sauce and everything. Yep, a Band-Aid. So that's why I wanted to point out the safety features in the beginning and the opposite being a Band-Aid in the food. And it's not his Band-Aid.
You can build a plastic fortress all day.
I know, but a Band-Aid will knock you down.
But if you are throwing your used bandages in the food, that's it.
Well, it made me wonder, because, there's a lot of sauce and stuff. Like, what else are we getting at different places that we don't know? Because it's all in the sauce.
Dang it. You know what we needed? We should have had Hudson on the phone.
Just
I should have called him. Yeah, because
he didn't complain or anything. He should have gone back and complained.
Did he finish the meal?
I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. See, I thought you would talk to him firsthand.
No, it was the day before. Shoot. I just found out. It was office gossip.
Okay. You know what? I think later on in the show, we're going to have to call him.
You need to find out.
Because, I need answers about what's going on here.
He didn't want to go back. Michael said he didn't complain. He didn't go back.
Well, I'm not going back.
Will that
I don't
stop
think
you?
I can. I don't think I can. The Band-Aid place. Like, that's all right. Listen,
it has the stigma.
All right. Remember the other Chinese place where they had all the rat poop and all the whatever, and
there was two. One kept getting dinged for just unhygienic, and then the other one had, I think, cockroaches or something underneath food in the delivery bags.
Whatever.
And then remember the one at the mall that had
that was just,
it had like a baby rat body or something in the food. We can't.
These just can't. Keeping in mind that these are all places that we have eaten, and we've been like, "Oh, I love this place. It's so
delicious." Good. I bet we're finding stuff in everything we eat. We just don't know it.
But that place, their minor complaints have been like, "Oh, the chicken sat out too long" or something. And I'm like, almost every restaurant ends up getting dinged for something like that.
Up. They used to be worse in years past.
They did. They've really gotten their act together, and I was way impressed with the fortress that they built inside the restaurant. But now,
here comes a Band-Aid.
Hudson found a used Band-Aid in his food.
Which means not wearing gloves, which I don't know if anybody does when they make food.
I actually noticed that none of them were wearing gloves. But I thought, you know what? They're behind the plexiglass fortress. That's their answer.
Cook out.
It's fine. No.
So there you go.
I have kind of two questions that I need everybody to sound off on at 8772 Radio U. I need to know, one, can you go back to a restaurant when someone you know found a Band-Aid in their food?
Is that too much?
That's one. Is it completely off the list? Or two, because this is what I was thinking. I think I would have rather found a finger in my food than a Band-Aid.
Than the Band-Aid? Why?
I don't know. There's something about that Band-Aid where I was just
mystery.
That
means something happened underneath. So what happened underneath, and the germs from that are on there.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't think about that? It's twofold.
Oh, I know. It's so objectionable on so many different levels.
So feel free to text and tell us what you think.
So can we go back, and is a Band-Aid the worst? Could it be worse than a Band-Aid? Because part of me just feels like it can't.
It's the worst.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
We are in a spot now where a friend of a friend told me, it's actually a friend of a friend of a friend, told us something that happened. Because, we don't have the full details.
Yeah, but Mike Michael just said the details. Basically, Hudson went to a restaurant. He got a Band-Aid in his food.
Okay.
And he did not complain.
Hudson told Michael. Michael told you. You told me. That's friend of a friend of a friend.
Yeah, it's fine. That's how the best news gets traveled.
It is a game of telephone.
There's no room for a mistake there. It is what it is.
For all we know, Hudson was talking. Maybe he found a Band-Aid on his shoe.
No.
Michael heard food, and then it was... So we're sure.
Yeah, it was in the food.
Okay. All right. Well, I asked.
You don't just miss those details. You can't miss that up.
Nikki, I've spent so much time looking at the news
It could have been
that I
worse.
can tell you there are often very important details that get left out. So here we go. Okay. So Carl's, I asked the question, you find a Band-Aid in your food, can you go back?
Is that all right? Like, is that forgivable?
Like, oh, you know what? It happens. Sometimes Band-Aids fall off my hands all the time. Whatever. Carl says, if I find a Band-Aid in my food, I'm calling the FBI and the CDC while vomiting my way to the hospital.
That seems reasonable.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it cook out?
No, the Band-Aid doesn't cook out.
No, I mean the diseases that are on the Band-Aid. And we don't know if the Band-Aid got cooked. What if it fell in after?
What if you ate a Band-Aid?
Oh, gosh, if you pulled it out of your mouth?
Not even that. Like, what if?
You're just like, well, that's it. I have to clone my body and burn this one because I can't use it anymore.
No.
Zach says, I probably wouldn't go back there, but I also think there are worse things. Insects and rodents could be worse. Who are we kidding, though? Any foreign object is a deal breaker.
That's true. It's just how strong are you on your resolve once you figure out what happened?
I'm with him on that. Any foreign object is a deal breaker.
I had a bug at a salad bar place, and I won't go back.
You're
and
done?
now, I recognize, though...
That seems pretty... Unfortunately, seems very reasonable.
Because it's salad, and there's going to be bugs and lettuce and all that stuff, but I don't want to go back.
Jeff says, nope, certainly can't go back. And what about this? You're just enjoying your food. You bite down on something really hard. You pull out a tooth.
What if that happened? Is that worse than a Band-Aid?
I did have a dream last night that I broke my tooth on something. Oh,
did you?
Yeah.
Why? What did you dream that for?
I don't know. Somebody interpret my dreams. Never mind. I don't want to know.
Please don't look into that.
I could not handle either one. I found a Band-Aid in a salad from one of my favorite restaurants. It was rough. I will not go back again.
Aw, who texted that?
This does not have a name on it.
Aw, well, thanks for texting.
So you, area code 937, text us back your name.
You have to let us know. And isn't it just a shame when it's always your favorite restaurant?
So, Mitch says at least it wasn't a bloody Band-Aid.
We don't know. It was in sauce.
Band-Aid in sauce? Who the heck knows what used to be on it and is in the sauce now?
It's in you.
I noticed we both had quite a reaction to that idea.
I also wonder, and this would be good to ask Hudson, like, when did it happen? Did you eat most of the food? Did you notice right away? Did you throw it or did you eat around it?
Ashley says, no, I would never go back, and I for sure would be complaining.
Oh, well, I hope Hudson never goes back. If not, we'll never go back.
Let's see. Zach says, tooth is the worst. I'd be worried about the meat ideas, or the meat I was eating. Okay. Well,
Because what if it was, like, from the meat? They put a lot of stuff in.
There's a lot in there.
The meat that you eat or the chicken that you eat, I don't think is really just from, the one thing.
Yeah.
It's from a collection of animals.
I'll just tell you that our best bet is that we don't eat anything ever. But you can't live like that.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
We could just eat like bar food, not like from bars, but like
it's like bar food, fish and chips. Down
like,
at the pub.
Meaning like,
you'd eventually find like a tooth or a fingernail in there.
Like it's just prepackaged foods. In bar form.
Maybe what we need to do is just start grossing people out at a young age, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't care."
Ashley said she found an acrylic nail in a hamburger once.
Again, you're down in there working that meat.
Someone's
finger's nail came off.
So that means they weren't wearing gloves when they were working the meat.
Of course they were. Why would you wear gloves? It's gonna cook out.
I think they should be wearing gloves.
You're basically listening to a real-time cringe compilation. This is The Riot on RadioU.
That's weird. This is the headline that I'm reading. HBO Max customers slam the service as shady and disgusting. after they discover you can't use it on Roku or Amazon devices.
They said that
it's
HBO Max
shady or disgusting.
Well, they said that it's shady because they should have been more upfront with the fact that it's not available on those two ways to watch, like most other streaming services.
Well, I can tell you right now that there are things on HBO Max that are both shady and disgusting.
But that's
that
not
is
about
true,
that.
But that's not what they're talking about.
No, they're just saying they're mad. We had read a statement from Roku a few days ago. Basically, it just seemed like they weren't getting a good enough deal. And so they hadn't hashed that out yet. And then Amazon probably was in the same boat.
The big argument is every company wants a cut of the other person's money. And I mean, I could go on and on, but like I was using something on my iPad last night. And there's this one particular service I'm using that's available on the Android tablet I used to have, but not on my iPad. And I already know it's because they want a cut of any sales in that app, and it's a subscription app, and so they won't do it, and blah, blah, blah. It's like a whole thing. And so it's the same thing here. Amazon probably wants a cut or wants people to be able to subscribe through them, which means they get a cut of the money. And Roku's probably in a very similar spot.
But you have the two main ones, and they're not playing, like they don't want to play with HBO Max yet. So it seems like, well, is it HBO Max's fault then?
Nikki, they're not the main ones. Doesn't everybody have an NVIDIA Shield?
No. Everyone has a Roku or an Amazon device.
What are you talking about?
Or an Apple TV, which that's the only one it does work with.
Yeah, I do have an Apple TV. And that's funny because they're the ones that are usually the real hard noses about
with
video
what they have
content
on there.
like that. So I don't know. But yeah, I played with HBO Max a little bit last night, and I did find things I wanted to watch. So,
but
that's
did
something.
you watch them?
I did.
Okay, I was going to say we can all find things, but are we actually watching things on it?
I watched. I didn't finish anything, but I started 2 things.
I think we need to take a good hard look before 30 days to see if we want to do another month.
You know what? There are several movies on there that I do plan on watching over the next week or two, but I do feel like once I watch what I want to watch, just like with Disney Plus, I will watch it, and then it's like, why do I need this?
Then you forget about it.
And so I'll cut it off. I actually canceled 3 streaming services last night that I had like free trials of, and cut those guys right off.
Look at you going strong into the weekend.
That's right, Nikki. I got to have room for Max, but not on my Amazon and or Roku device.
And people find it shameful. Is that the word?
No, they said shady.
Shady and disgusting?
And disgusting. No, that's Game of Thrones.
This is the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Okay, I need some help from those of you that will care about this. I realize that won't be everybody, but man, I want a new game to play. So here's what I always
feel this come like Thursday evening, Friday morning.
Well, I'm thinking about what I have some free time this weekend, so it's like I'm trying to figure out what I want to play. I have been staring at this. The Epic Games Store is having their sale right now. Steam will have theirs later. It's I think they might
a very epic sale.
It's the Epic Mega Sale.
Oh, is that what they call it? Well, it's hard when the name you normally call the sale is already in the name.
You having an Epic Sale? No, it's an Epic Mega Sale.
Because we already are epic.
So I'm looking at, and I mean, it is that whole thing of like, I've got a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. But I was just looking for something new. And last weekend, I really tried to like Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I have so many people in my life who are just like, man, it's good. It's better than The Division. It's so awesome. And I hate it. They're like, these drones keep flying over. And if the drone sees you, here come the little drones. Here they come to get you.
Well, now, last week we played for our after show Maneater. Why don't you finish that?
I'm over that.
You can't be. We played it just for a few hours.
And Nikki, that you play a little, then you got to move on.
Oh, no. That's not how that works. You got to get back into a couple of games.
You know what? I will tell you, the reason that I was looking for something else is that I got a new graphics card this week. And anybody that plays, video games on a PC will tell you, when you get a new graphics card, it almost always has to have a game purchase that goes with it because you want to make that graphics card cry and ask to be taken back to the store. You want to punish it. You want to work it so hard that it's just like, I can't. And you're like, shut up.
Why did I get bought by Obi?
I wish I could have just gone off to some sort of a cryptocurrency mining farm. Why do I have to be here?
Live my years out there.
Why do I have to be here?
Well, I didn't know that's how that happens.
That's how
I
it
thought
works.
it was about finishing up what we started.
Nobody does that.
No one does? You don't finish your games?
Don't finish games. Don't finish books. Don't finish movies. Don't finish. Feel like you're.
I don't know if that's the good thing to say.
Don't you feel like we're all about to go to a relationship therapy that's like, he never finishes what he starts?
He never finishes the games. He buys them, but he doesn't finish them.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just curious if anybody, like the one that I've
Don't you dare give him any other games, guys.
Don't give them. Just
say
some
finish.
suggestions. No.
Just tell him to finish the other ones.
No. Call the cops on her. She don't know.
Come on. I don't want them enabling you.
I was thinking about Red Dead Redemption 2. They say that is the most insane graphics game that there is. Like it's like the roughest, toughest one out there. So I thought maybe I'd go for that.
Okay.
What do you think?
It sounds fine.
Oh gosh. You know what?
Just want to know.
You text me if you want. 8772
Tom
RadioU.
says yes to Red Dead.
Okay. Philip says Minecraft Dungeons. I'm not a Minecraft guy, though I have seen that out there. But all right, I'll think about it.
The Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on RadioU.
The people that are constantly stealing your information and have the largest treasure trove of privacy-related info on you out of anyone in the world would like to now warn you about scams that are trying to steal your information.
Is that Google or Facebook or what?
In this case, I'm talking about
Google.
Facebook might be worse. I don't know. But Google has launched something called a website called scamspotter.org. And so what you do is you can head over there and they've got a list of scams that are currently kind of
floating
going
around.
on. Yeah. And
what's trending?
Let's see. Spot the scam, consult government. Well, actually, you know what? They have just kind of a list. They don't have specific scams, but different kinds of scams.
Like, I think one of the more recent ones was like the stimulus checks and stuff. As people especially receive checks or how to deposit or like what to get, there was, I think, a lot of scams with that.
So, like, for example, if you go to scamspotter.org and you click on scams, they have them kind of categorized. So, like COVID-19 scams, they say, first, slow down. Trust doctors over peddlers. So if somebody is like, this colloidal silver will keep you from getting, you're like, wait a minute. Check with a doctor first. 2, they say consult government sources, which of course they would say that.
That's of course. Yes, of course they would say that.
Of course they would say that. Go to mainstream medicine and the government, whose job is to manufacture diseases to keep you sick.
Okay, right. What else do they suggest?
And then they say, do not be tricked into paying for government benefits. Stimulus checks, unemployment payments, Medicare never require you to pay up front to apply for or receive them. So those are their 3 tips for those kinds of things.
On the website, can you put in the scam and then find out if it's real or not? Is it just a general site?
Right now, they don't have that option. Not good enough for you?
Well, I thought it would give me a little bit more, but
okay. Well, they do have the 3 overall steps, and then they have them applied differently. But one is slow down. They say the first thing that scammers are going to try to do is create a sense of urgency. And so if somebody is like, you got to do this now, you never do. And just to be clear, salespeople do that too. Anytime a salesperson's like ready to close the deal, I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, they also show like romance scams. So in case someone wants to try to get money out of you.
Right. And you know what? Okay.
Bad news ones.
To me, the idea of being scammed on the internet seems ridiculous, but I have 2 people in my direct circle that have been scammed. One kind of like found out beforehand, but the first one was, I have a friend of mine who's dating a girl. She sent over $20,000 to somebody, which to me is just like
real 20,000.
Real 20,000.
How old is she?
27.
No way.
How
did she fall for that?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know her. I only know him.
She must have a unbelievably trusting spirit about her.
That's what he said.
Aww.
Like this, he found out about it later, but he's like, yeah, she's so compassionate, she's so kind, whatever.
She just didn't
and
even
she
think.
didn't. Yeah.
Well, she needs this site. Now we know people that need this site.
My friend's dad was buying an RV, which is like an RV, but apparently people do that. And he was all set to buy this RV online. And the bank, when he went to make the transfer, the bank was like, wait just a second. And the bank did the research.
They
was
caught
like,
it.
No, this is a scam. You're being scammed, sir.
If you're bored and you're at the Scam Spotter site, you can take a quiz to see about your knowledge.
Hey, you know what?
Let's see how we do.
I feel like you and I don't necessarily need this, but there are people who do.
There are plenty of people.
Scamspotter.org. Don't get scammed.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Still up in the air as to what's going to happen with football this fall. I've said many times here, I'm not a big fan of the NFL, but I do love college football.
And man, we love college football in the fall. It starts it off. It's just a thing.
It's so great.
You watch it on Saturdays, like you have a really good time with it. And the thought that it might not be there is sad.
Yeah, it's a genuine bummer. I like to go out and do fall things like pick apples and, like be hot and cold at the same time. And I don't know how that works. And seeing the leaves change and there's that smell in the air and like just all of it. I love all of it.
We are fans of it.
It is my favorite time of year.
And football goes with it.
It does. Now, all of that being said, we don't know what's going to happen again with football this year, but we do know what's going to happen with Madden NFL football all the way until 2026. EA, the makers of Madden NFL football, have just signed a deal again with the NFL, and they will be the official simulation game of football through 2026. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be the only game that is allowed to make a realistic recreation of NFL football.
Sure.
You're like, well, what does that mean? Well, there's
the players
right, but there's a deal with 2K, which is another video game maker, that they would be allowed to make an arcade style game that is think like NBA Street or NFL Blitz, like different things like that, where it's not a focus on really recreating football, but like theirs is more cartoon like, arcade like, fun, et cetera, whereas Madden would be a more quote unquote realistic look at NFL football.
That's a pretty good deal. I feel like, though, I don't know if football doesn't return in the normal way. Like, will Madden have a resurgence? But I don't feel like it's done the same in previous years.
Oh, I couldn't tell you from a sales number perspective, but just from a cultural perspective, I don't feel like Madden is what it was.
It was just there when you were growing up, but
yeah,
it's just not the same as it used to be.
There was a time when the release of Madden seemed every year like a really big deal, and now I feel like it just kind of comes and goes.
But again, if you don't get any other football, you might be like, I'll play Madden, okay.
I'm with you. I kind of wonder the same thing. Like, if football is, dead-ish
sure,
this fall, does suddenly...
I think NFL football might have a better chance of coming back. We're just more concerned because we prefer college football.
Right.
That I don't know.
Man, then the question becomes, if college football isn't back this year, if that's a thing, would I watch the NFL?
What would happen? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, do I have a football quota or do I have a college football quota?
Things change.
I don't know the answer to that.
Hey, so what do you think of Obadiah?
The truth is, he's not a very nice person.
Okay, well, what about Nikki?
The very best there is.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
I'll have to admit, compared to what's in the news today, talking about whether or not you're going to wear a mask to the store suddenly seems a whole lot more trivial. But it's still a thing.
Sure.
Whether or not you're going to wear a mask. And what's been interesting to me is I found an article yesterday about businesses around the United States that are not letting people in if they wear a mask.
Oh, there are?
Yes.
Really? I don't think I've ever seen one.
Well, I haven't seen one locally, like where we are currently.
Yeah, but where's that at?
Let's see. This guy's name is Kevin Smith. He runs the Liberty Tree Tavern in Texas.
Texas?
Okay, well,
I can maybe see that. And it's the Liberty Tree one, so it's a freedom thing.
You're right. You know what? I didn't actually draw the Liberty Tree thing until... And he just said
this.
He put a poster and a sign outside his bar that says, "No masks allowed." Please bear with us through the ridiculous, fearful times.
I still feel like, a balanced approach for some that are susceptible to more things and they need one, even though it's there to protect you from spreading your things technically the other way. But, is it okay if someone feels more comfortable? Can they wear it? And if you don't feel comfortable, then, you don't wear it.
So here we go. Here's a few more. A gas station in Kentucky will not allow you in if you're wearing a mask. There in Los Angeles is a flooring store. So they sell carpet and hardwood floors and stuff. That they encourage hugs and handshakes, but no face coverings.
Really? Mm-hmm. You're allowed to hug?
There's a campground in Wisconsin that said that if they find clients wearing a mask inside the facilities, you will be treated as a robber.
Come on.
So
there's no difference between the people then that are screaming at you if you're not, like in a store, if they make you. You're doing the same thing, just the other side of it.
You know what? I'm wearing a mask. Not because I think it's going to help me or help others. I'm just wearing it so nobody will bug me.
Just keep your head down.
Just don't bug me. Why are you wearing that mask, sir? Because I don't want you talking to me.
Because I want to go in the store, get whatever, and get out as fast as possible.
Just like I did back in the day. You remember when I walked in and walked out? I want to do that again.
Same thing.
Want me to wear a mask? Whatever.
Oh, we could still be kind to each other about it.
I don't think that's on the docket. I'll check.
It's hard because I know a lot of people actually can't wear the mask. Like they have breathing issues. It's a difficulty thing, but no one stops and asks them, like they'll just usually start arguing. So you have that side. Then you have the other side where if you are wearing one, don't go yelling at them too.
I have yet to see a direct confrontation regarding a mask. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing I've seen a lot of, people talking but not talking to you. So I walked past the ladies like, I can't believe these ridiculous people wearing their masks, blah, blah, blah. And I was wearing one. And then I also happened to run in somewhere where I had forgotten to wear my mask. And I heard somebody go, I can't believe people would be out in public without wearing a mask.
But do you think they were actually talking about you or you were just hearing the conversation?
No, the one lady looked directly at me.
You? Oh, that's nice.
And I almost said something and I thought, no.
Don't escalate.
We're going to treat this like I read it on the internet. I'm just going to keep walking on.
Just go and get out. That's why I'm ordering online, because I don't want to go in.
It's fine.
I never want to go back in any place.
So just be clear, whatever you do today, you're making a political statement. Whatever it is. Are you drinking water? That's political. How dare you?
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
So starting in June of this year, Nikki's been spending a lot of time inside. She doesn't like going out to get things like food. Or food.
It's efficient to just have it brought to me.
She likes to have people bring it to her. And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, I cut back on meat, like delivery, like DoorDash and Uber Eats. It's really just I use Amazon Fresh and I use Instacart from Costco.
Well, you know what, Nikki? I am happy to tell you that we're now in a position where you're going to be able to get your pills.
Ooh.
That's right.
From where?
You'll be able to get them from, well, here's the deal. CVS is teaming up with a company called Nuro, N-U-R-O. So Nuro has developed some autonomous self-driving cars that can be used for delivery. And so starting next month in Texas, they're going to run a pilot program to see how it goes. Now, the cars will have minders, so there will be people, but these robot cars will come to your house with your medicine. You just go out and get it, and you take it inside, and good for you.
I guess. I mean, I guess they assume we're going to the doctor, so that's one.
So you just get most of yours from that online pharmacy in Mexico?
No, I don't have any prescriptions currently, so I don't know if that's how that'll really save me the time.
Yeah.
If someone took a lot, then maybe.
What about your vitamins?
I don't get them from CVS.
Where do you get them from?
Costco.
And they deliver?
Well, yeah, it comes in the thing if I want.
Okay.
I like to just buy one big thing of vitamins and then take it for a tiny bit and then just leave them there. So
yeah, that's me. I like to buy things and not use them or take them.
Especially healthy things.
Yeah. So they say that, again, these eventually will go driverless, and their driverless vehicle is called the R2.
Oh, nice. No copyright thing on that?
Well, see, R2, that's not
technically
a thing. So R2 will bring you your medicine. Okay, the thing for me is back in the day, there was, I can't remember if it was Adult Swim or Saturday Night Live or what, but they had this joke about robots stealing your medicine and needing to have robot insurance because old people would fall for anything. And so they would believe that the robots were coming to take their medicine. And so the fact that now we have robots to bring the medicine, you really need some robot insurance.
You know where you're at? You're at the future right now.
Oh, we made it.
We made it to the future.
We're in the future. Like we are 2 steps. You know what though? Isn't that all parody? I feel like you and I are living in a world right now where all the parody from 10 years ago is just becoming real. The president, I mean, come on. Like him or not like him, he's a reality TV star. Mm-hmm. He was. That's a thing. And the list goes on. And now robots are stealing your medicine, probably?
Well, they're not. They're just taking it to you.
This is step 1.
I'm sure the handlers are the ones stealing the medicine.
Well, you know, every once in a while, to be a handler, you got to handle.
No, it'll be like with the food delivery where it's all packaged up, and if it's been opened, you can't.
Yeah.
Yes, deny it.
I wonder if the guy will come to the door and he'll have like a shtick, like he'll be dressed up real nice, like, hello, ma'am. Because, you know, some of them do that.
Oh.
Not all of them.
The Riot, not everyone's fan.
I wonder whose idea this was.
RadioU.
So it's a big deal, apparently, for the people at Apple that they have. I don't know if this is the first movie that they've bought for their Apple TV Plus, but it's a big one. They have purchased Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, and directed by Martin Scorsese. Now
everybody,
they're excited about it. They say that apparently this movie cost over $200 million to make.
Gosh, that just means your
just so
thing
much
goes
money.
up higher.
So
Your
much money, right?
subscription when that comes around.
And it's based on a nonfiction bestseller with the same title. It's about a string of killings of Native Americans in Oklahoma in the 1920s.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm not familiar with any of that. The only thing I am familiar with is a movie.
Yeah.
That everybody was very excited about it. And it came to Netflix late last year. Mm-hmm. It was directed by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
It starred Robert De Niro.
I'm feeling a trend.
And it cost almost $200 million to make.
Okay.
It was like some absurd amount of money. Actually, I can't even remember. What was it called?
The Irishman.
The Irishman. And I was supposed to like it a lot. That's what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to really, really like it.
Did you watch all of it?
Oh, I watched it in one sitting. Like I sat down on a Friday night,
long, they
took
said.
it all in. It was, I think it was about 3 days long because I remember waking up on Monday and I was late for work. I don't remember what happened after that, but I didn't like it very much.
Well,
I didn't dislike it.
But see, it's different. I don't think they care if you like it. I don't even think Netflix cared.
Is it the publicity they get for having it?
It's the names in that industry to kind of like, you know, show the industry that they can get these people.
We can do this too?
Yeah, so I don't think this has anything to do with us, like the average movie watcher. It's just about getting awards.
A prestige piece.
Exactly. Awards for it and saying, like, Netflix can say, oh, we had Martin Scorsese. I hate his name. Scorsese. And then Apple TV, can say the same thing. Like, they have these amazing, acclaimed actors in these big things.
That are only available.
Yeah, on their platform.
Right. Okay.
I think that's why.
That's fair to me, but
because if you look at it, you're like, I hate to tell you, but I think Adam Sandler's stuff gets more on Netflix, gets more than like those things. So you could see what most people really just like to watch when they're at home.
I've watched
Not The Irishman.
I watched one of Adam Sandler's Netflix movies.
His are always like number one. And then, like, what was the newest one? The David Spade one, the comedy one.
I keep hearing people say that's good.
Yeah, and like that's no level near these things, but people really love that stuff.
Well, Nikki, you have different kinds of restaurants and different kinds of meals.
Yeah, but everybody wants to eat, I guess. So
this is a meal that is supposed to be for the snooty among us, I think.
I don't know. Who wants if your movie's $200 million, that's a lot.
Couldn't we have had like a really big science fiction action film for that? Or do we already have too many of those?
Or a lighthearted romantic comedy? Come on. You get enough stuff.
You could make 10 of those for that.
for that price tag?
I don't know. It probably $150 million was spent de-aging Robert De Niro.
This is what I do. I just click out of the story and I don't worry about it.
Well, I still have my Apple TV Plus subscription because I bought an iPad. Mm-hmm. So there's that. If it's on it in the next year, I'll let you know.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, what are you reading about this Nintendo Switch nonsense?
Well, I was looking, basically since the stay-at-home stuff, Switches became so popular around the time.
Thing.
Yeah, it was Animal Crossing, but it was a few other things, too. Like, people were at home, they needed something to do, and the Switch was the item of choice.
The nice thing about the Nintendo Switch is that you can play it without dominating the TV. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in a household, especially with like a couple of different people, if maybe you have a TV in every room, maybe you don't. But like with the Switch, you can do your own thing and you don't have to be like, are you done with Netflix yet? I want to play Switch. You can just play it.
So it's still the same. Now you go to, it's the 29th, it's May, it's almost June, and Switches are almost impossible to find for their actual price. You can find Switches, but they are usually at least 50% over markup for it.
They're so expensive if you buy them, secondhand.
This article is just saying that there was about 150 console sellers on Amazon at the time they were writing it, and it was at least a $450 minimum. And that doesn't include like the Animal Crossing one, which is in the 800s. There's like a Pikachu or the Mario Switches and stuff. Those are just as much.
What?
So it's still like that. There's no way.
Okay, would you pay a premium for something like
if I knew the
let's
actual
take it
price
off the Switch? Like, is there anything you've had? Like, what if it was like the new iPhone and you were just like, I gotta have that? Is there something that you would?
That's a lot higher than retail. I don't know if I could.
Okay,
if I just knew that's so much money, I'd be disappointed. But you also want it.
I got chewed out by some people for selling my Oculus Rift. Mm-hmm. I sold that yesterday. I sold it for $450. I paid $400 for it, but then I also paid tax on it. So I was thinking I made $50 on it, but I really made about $20 on it. So I paid, but I had it listed at $500 because I knew that I was going to have to list it high. People were going to have to negotiate their way down. And I was more than anything just trying to get my money back from the purchase price. And those are kind of like the Switch. They're not in as high demand,
sure,
but they're very hard to find.
Well, the issue with this, too, is Amazon will take some of the price gouging ones down. Then they put them back up under slightly different names to be able to sell the Switches again.
What, like the Nintendo Swatch?
Something like that until it's up and loaded, and then they can always change it. But if you go back to April, at the end of April, BirdBot became a very popular thing. It is
I don't know what that is.
There are bots that have been created by people so that if something comes in stock at like Best Buy or Amazon, it's where Switch hoarders can immediately use the bot to buy it at its lower price and then resell it.
They sell it back to you.
Yeah, so they've had a huge issue with that. So they take away all the stock at its normal price.
Wow.
So those are bots for it.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes deep. So if you've been still desperately wanting one and you're mad, a lot of people are just figuring out creative, not ethical ways to.
Well, technically it's ethical. Like
That's
it's
true.
not. It feels unfair and it sucks, but technically
it is.
It is ethical. It's the letter of the law, if not the spirit.
It's like a person who, like for tickets, like for a concert, if they swoop in at the beginning, buy them all, and then they have to sell them, and it's for
sell
more.
at a premium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not defending it.
That's all that's going on with it.
It's the worst, but dang, right? Right. So in the meantime, you know what I wish I would have done? I had a friend of mine who got a Nintendo Switch the other day, Switch. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have asked him where and what he paid for it, because I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't want to tell you.
Maybe not.
This was the worst of the Riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.